Nobody shut them down enough in these playoffs. They already own the longest win streak record for playoffs. They're at 14-0. But if you take a look here, 16-0, there's no question it's attainable. It would be historic. Draymond Green trying to say they don't care. You might see from my intro how much I believe him, but let's take a listen to the sound.
Everyone wants to make history, but I want to win 4 games. And if that's 4-3, it's 4-3. If that's 4-0, great. But I just want to win 4 games. The history is, championship is history. That's really the only history we need to make. We made that mistake of circling 73 and worrying about the wrong thing before. It don't matter. You know, like I said, it'd be great. It'll be a great story. But I don't think, you know, when I talk, if we were able to do that, I don't think when I talk about championship, I say, we only team win 16-0. I think I say we won a championship. And so I think that's all that matters at the end of the day.
All right, I got to backtrack there. I do believe him about that. I don't believe him. I know. I'm admitting it right here on TV. I think that he completely believes it when he says we don't care about the history of it. And when he says even, hey, we made a little bit of a mistake last year focusing so much on the 73. Scotty, I'm sure you feel that they made a mistake focusing on the 73.
I'm glad they made a mistake.
But
not the greatest team.
Right,
and they putting it out there. It was always talked about a lot. They're answering that question. Now it's all like, oh, yeah, what happened there again? You guys won 73. You didn't finish the job. So now coming out here talking about 16, 16, 16.
Right.
And then all of a sudden say you didn't finish, you didn't do it in 16.
Well, that's the difference. That's what I'm trying to.
And I think they've learned from that.
I believe him that they've learned from that. I don't believe that they don't want 16-0 only because of what I said at the top of the show. I think they want to sweep this Cleveland team. I think that they want to finish at 16-0 only because it is important to them to demolish a team that they felt like taunted them all.
Well, they made that understood.
Well, in the words of Draymond Green, he says he wants to annihilate them.
Exactly.
Right. And he made that clear.
Yeah, he made that loud and clear. I don't believe collectively they're talking about 16-0.
Right.
But believe me, there's some mumbles between a couple of those guys like, I want to sweep this team.
In the locker room for sure. I just say they're not trying to let that get out.
Well, I think anytime you're in a series with a team, you want to sweep them. I mean, there's no series that you go in thinking that you want to play 5 games or 6 games. You want to sweep the team, and especially what this team dealt with last season, losing down 3-1. I mean, up 3-1 and losing. I mean, the revenge is to sweep them, and that would be more gratifying to them than just winning a championship. Winning 16 games in a row is probably not that important to them, but I think their focus is now we need to win a game in Cleveland to really take control of this series, because right now they're facing where they were a year ago. So they haven't really gained a lot of ground. We expected them to protect their home court. That's what they did. And now they have to go on the road and win a game, or this momentum could shift.
Yeah. Well, they are determined. We will see all that tonight.
Could shift.
Yeah. Well, they are determined. We will see all that tonight. Before we go to break, I want to take a minute to talk about NBA executive Todd Harris, who passed away suddenly yesterday at the age of 47. I hope when you see Todd smiling in these pictures and with his family, you start to get just even a little idea of what a warm, wonderful person he was. I really wish every single one of you watching right now could have met Todd, because I promise you, you would have been better for it. And that's partly because Todd was great at his job. He worked at the NBA for 22 years. And if over the last 2 decades there's been a part of watching basketball on TV you've liked, there's a good chance Todd touched it in some way. But as good as Todd was at his job, that's really the least of why he was so beloved around the NBA family and why his death was such a shock. Todd was simply good people. Everything he touched just got a little nicer and a little brighter. He leaves behind a wife and kids who will miss him terribly, and so will the rest of us. So it is time to choose. Tracy, you are back after a few days home in Houston, so I'm putting you on the hot seat first. Pick. Are you more, is it that, hey, the Warriors can win, or, hey, LeBron's not going out like that?
Well, the Warriors certainly could win, but I have my faith in the Cavs tonight. I have my faith in LeBron James that they're going to make the necessary adjustments. You know, we always say that the role players like to get some good cooking at home, which I really never understood why role players don't play well on the road, but they play so well at home.
Look at that shade. That's just shade right now.
I don't understand that. But with that being said, I think what a couple of those guys can control is their effort, right? They can bring more effort. Tristan Thompson, you could bring more effort. Not necessarily, you know, you have to put the ball in the hole because we don't run set plays for you, but your effort has to change. And I suspect that they're going to give more of an incredible effort tonight to get this win. And I think, you know, we'll get a little help from the league as well. And the three guys, three guys in strike. I said it.
Shade the role players. Take a shot at the league.
I said it.
Wow.
I'm not giving you days off anymore. You're just coming out with it. You got to pick.
Man, that's a tough pick. You know, I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers will come out and make a better effort. I think from a team standpoint, they have to get other guys to contribute. But I just feel right now that the Golden State Warriors have so much momentum going on their side and so many weapons on their side that it's going to be very difficult for Cleveland to match their intensity. I mean, you're talking about last game, 20 turnovers by the Golden State Warriors, and they still is able to beat this team by 20 points. I mean, I just don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers have the firepower. And the way that LeBron is playing, I don't think he can maintain that for 48 minutes to be able to beat this Golden State team, as we saw in Game 2.
All right, so you're still sticking with sweep.
I don't think he can do it by himself either. But it's tough to pick because, like you said, on one side of the fence, Cleveland must and have to play better. They have to. And the role players, I think Tristan, with his energy, giving them second chances, giving them more opportunities to shoot the three, now ignites J.R. Smith, now ignites Shumpert. And then if they can get in transition, you need Kyrie Irving to play better. But on the other hand, Golden State, thinking about 3-1 last year, coming here, allowing Cleveland to gain momentum to lose this series, that is their motivation coming in. So it's kind of a toss-up, but I think right now it's all about Cleveland. It's all about Cleveland and what they need to do to get a win. Not saying they're going to win the series, but they need to get a win.
Well,
because I think
we're down to a game at a time.
Right,
There's
that's
no
what I'm
question.
saying. You win Game 3, now things change. So maybe the world doesn't give you a chance, but now you survive. You still afloat.
Listen, in the beginning, I said this series is going to go 5. Golden State was going to beat them in 5. They have to win this game to push it to a 5. Because if they lose this game, you can forget about Friday. It's over.
Right?
Because now you allow a loose Golden State team to play carefree. And that's tough.
I'm going back to your shade for a minute. First of all, the officiating is going to be fine tonight. Thank you. Second of all, the role players, I know you never had to deal with this, never being a role player in your life, but maybe it makes a difference for them. I don't know. Do you guys notice?
I think role players do tend to play better when they're at home. So I do expect the players from the Cavaliers to play better. I expect Tristan Thompson to have a better game than he had in the first 2 games, but I don't think that closes the gap. You know, I think right now that the gap is too big. I think the fact that they have a guy that can make shots in half-court situation in Kevin Durant. I think that they got guys that are coming down making big shots in transition, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. They got guys on the perimeter that are stepping up. Their bench guys are playing well. So it just seemed like a tall order for them to be able to
It is
match.
a tall order. I mean, what you have to do is disrupt their flow, and nobody has figured that out yet. You look at the two teams and how they play. Golden State, you know, KD and Steph, a lot of times are on the receiving end of some of those passes because of the style of play. Whereas on Cleveland's side, Bron is dominating the ball, Kyrie is dominating the ball. That's their style of play, and you can't beat this team playing that way.
I mean, the only team we saw even start and not figure it out, but start to make a dent was the Spurs, right? I mean, y'all made a dent in a couple games, but in terms of really taking it to them, it's been the Spurs.
Their style of play.
Part of that is just the simple stuff, like, you know, take a foul in transition. I mean, just some of the basics about what we tell to slow down teams like that.
I mean, for me, Cleveland needs to take it quarter by quarter. I mean, if they can win a quarter, then maybe we can start to think that they can win a game. Right. But they've yet to win a quarter.
We're going to get into later on in the show what I suggest that should happen.
T-Max tips. I like that. I like that. We need to show, by the way, some of Vince specifically just taking out some of the Warriors in some of those games early in the playoffs.
Well, he tried to get physical with
it. That's my point.
I mean, that's what you have to do. You got to be physical.
Right?
You can't just let them run around, celebrating, feeling good about themselves, because when you do that, that's when they're at their best. We saw last year they got a little more physical with Steph Curry. Those legs start to go. As you know, I mean, I've played against you. That was your style. Be physical with the player. Get into him, because you think when you sit at home working on your game, you don't work against physicality. You just free flow and just shoot. Now you get into them, force them to do some of the things that they don't work on their game or practice a lot. It's a different story. I also think you have to make Golden State bench score the points. I know it's a tough task, but you can't let Steph have the 30, 40 and their bench. You have to take away something. So if you put all the onus on stopping their big four, at least three. Okay, let's just say 3 of their 4. Okay, you want Draymond to get his numbers. You want him. Now he has the ball more. Then Steph doesn't have the ball more. Then KD doesn't have the ball more. And you have a chance. That was kind of our game plan when we played them in the playoffs. Of course, they still won because their guys well, the games we won, we shut. Okay, let me not say shut them down. We contained them and we made it tough. But Draymond we okay if Draymond scores 30 points because you have to give up something.
Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, look, nobody shut them down enough in these playoffs. They already